welcome back. The battle of the press conferences rages on as candidates come out with last-ditch efforts to undermine their opponents. With only 13 days left before the election, the contenders for the presidency are accusing each other of throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at each other to improve their chances of winning. As the campaign enters the home stretch, the candidates are fighting harder to win undecided voters and to hang on to their supporters. And the tactics are getting rougher. Last week, former President Joseph Estrada held a press conference and accused rival Manny Villar of financial improprieties. Villar then brought out his ailing 89-year-old mother to defend him and launched his own salvo against Noynoy Aquino. Today, Villar supporter Guido Delgado released another document purporting that Aquino suffered from mental problems in his past. That document, again purportedly from the Ateneo de Manila Psychological Department, was once again disowned by the university. The Aquino campaign, meanwhile, has admitted that it has conducted opposition research to see where its rivals are vulnerable. As the candidates struggle to attract undecided voters, the increasingly acerbic tone of the campaign may actually end up turning some of them off. Even so, as we near the final days, we're told that we can expect more attacks. Could all of this still alter the results? And tonight we're talking with Margaux Salcedo, spokesperson of the Puwersa ng Masang Pilipinos candidate, Joseph Estrada.
And also joining us in the studio, Liberal Party presidential candidate Noynoy Aquino spokesman, Attorney Edwin Lascerda.
Also joining us on the phone is Prospero de Vera. He's the issues advisor of Manny Villar. Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, Ricky and Seth.
All right, Mr. de Vera, let me begin with you. This new revelation, which turns out to have been false, don't you think that after the first one, that this might actually backfire on the Villar campaign?
The first time this issue came out, ABS-CBN ran a report saying that the source was the Nacionalista Party. We adamantly said it did not come from us. ABS-CBN refused to name who is it in the Nacionalista Party that came out with the report. And we don't gain anything out of the first report because we will be the first one to be accused. Now, we received a document and a DVD purporting to be a report. And they sent it to the media for the media to investigate it. If it is a done, then so be it. Then there is nothing to it. On the other hand, if the report is true, then serious questions and answers have to be made. They are accusing us and now saying, why did we release it? It is because that is the job of the media to investigate. We do not have any investigative skills in finding out the truth.
Yeah, Mr. De Vera, yes, sir. My question was, since it has been denied by Ateneo both the first time and the second time, it does create the impression that the reports are fake. Does that not represent a risk that this might boomerang on the Villar campaign? That was my question.
On the opposite, Ricky, it is because we want the truth to come out. We don't want to be accused again. We are avoiding the possibility that media organizations who receive the material would again accuse the Nacionalista Party of starting this whole thing. That's why we are bringing it out into the open for the media to investigate it. These are serious questions of psychological capacity to govern this country.
All right,
and
so
we feel that the electorate should know the truth.
So, Dr. De Vera, does this mean then that this has the sanction of the party? That it's not the lone act of Guido Delgado?
Why is Guido Delgado being accused of anything? The only thing that he did was to hold the press conference and bring out to the open a material that we received. What is wrong with that?
Well, the Liberal Party now says that he and his wife, or rather his wife, was the source was one of the sources of the first fake document, as shown by an email exchange. Yes. So then they're accusing him of lying by saying that the source of this second document is unknown to him.
I think what is being missed here is that it is the messenger who is being killed, and it is not the message that is being addressed. Guido Delgado is not the one on trial here. The only thing that he did was to present it to the media. Now, if they're accusing of Guido Delgado of being the one who fixed it, then let them do the accusation and let them prove it.
Not Guido Delgado, but the NP camp.
We already said that it is not compromised. We have categorically said that if ABS-CBN will give the name of the alleged source of that document, and it is proven that it came from them, that we will kick out those NP members. What else do you expect the Nationalista Party to do?
Well, again, the question being raised by the camp of the Liberal Party is that it has an email exchange or an email thread that indicates that the source, a possible source of the first fake report, was the wife of Mr. Delgado Joy. So, meaning that he cannot distance himself as not knowing the source, because the first one came from his wife.
Then they should present that email exchange in the proper forum and make those accusations official.
Okay, let's bring in Edwin Lacerda here because they're the ones who have also reacted to this report. Attorney Lacerda, you've heard Prosper Rivera say that Mr. Delgado was just doing his duty as a citizen to release this information without verifying it, and that it was our job as the media to tell the public whether it was fake or not. So what's wrong with that?
I said it a while ago, Guido Delgado is a liar, and I'm saying it again, the MP camp is a camp of lies. You were saying that it was the obligation of media to present it. The problem is in your report this evening, Guido Delgado was able to contact Father Kreutz, and he didn't wait for Father Kreutz to confirm the report, and instead he went on and conducted a press conference. Had he waited a little bit and wait for the confirmation of Father Kreutz as to whether the Bulatao report was a genuine report or not, then that would be fine. They're saying that it's your obligation, the media's obligation, to verify it. He had the opportunity to verify it. He had the chance to talk to Father Kreutz, and yet he ran away with the report and said that, hey, there is a report like this. It's up to media to present it. What is that? This is black propaganda. This is sloppy, sloppy work from their part. Guido Delgado was saying that if this is true, then the mental fitness of Senator Aquino is the issue. But it turned out to be false. I'm waiting for them to apologize. I'm waiting for Prosper Rivera. I'm not trying to kill the messenger. I'm accusing the Villar camp of trying to foist black propaganda over and over again. They think that they have an issue against my candidate regarding his mental fitness, but they're wrong. How many Jesuits are they going to use against Senator Aquino?
All right, let's bring Margaux Salcedo in here, because this is not just about this particular issue, and we will talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. But Margaux, President Estrada also last week and yesterday held a press conference where he made allegations against Senator Villar. How is this different or the same than Guido Delgado waving around that document about Senator Aquino?
Yes, Ricky, I think you will see the difference in that we actually watched the report on ANC today with respect to the unverified report with respect to the psychiatric test on Senator Noynoy Aquino, and it was agreed while we were watching it that this is something that it's a trap that they cannot fall into, because first of all, the report is unverified, and secondly, even Senate President Enrile himself said earlier while we were watching it that you have to take it into the context of the political situation at the time, and it happened in 1977. And at that time, at the risk of sounding like an LP spokesperson, at that time, this was in 1977, and Ninoy Aquino was being held by the Marcoses. So if Noynoy Aquino had to undergo any psychiatric tests at that time, it is something that would not be reflective of mental aberration. Instead, it is something that would only be reflective of maybe the trauma that he experienced because of the involvement of his political family. Now, that is where you will see the difference between this kind of mudslinging and what President Estrada and Senate President Enrile presented against Manny Villar. What we had was something that was based on evidence. And I think at the risk of having the Villar camp throw mud back at the Estrada camp, I believe that President Estrada and Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile felt that it was their duty as public servants and it was their duty as citizens to tell the people about this, because this goes into the very heart of the campaign, which is the integrity of a candidate, the sincerity of a candidate to serve. And it exposes the character of Senator Villar, and they would like to assist the Filipino public in making their choice come May 10th.
All right, well, let's talk about this, because there's been negative things coming out, being thrown out by different camps towards their rivals. Now, the public says it doesn't like negative propaganda, but we can see from the surveys that the public actually responds to negative propaganda. Margaux, does the effort by President Estrada come because we can see that when Villar's numbers go down, President Estrada's go up? Is there some kind of strategy to that?
No, I don't think so. I think this was it for a very, very long time. People have been trying to convince President Estrada to come out and say negative things about Noynoy, negative things about Villar, but he has refused. And the only reason why he has agreed to this press conference in the past few weeks is because he was presented with evidence that really reflected the character of Manny Villar. And he felt that it was his duty as a former president and his duty as a citizen to guide the people in making their decision. He feels that Manny Villar is really somebody whose character is not fit for the presidency, and that's why he has come to these exposés. With respect to the sliding down of Manny Villar and President Estrada's hitting the number two spot in certain surveys, the strategy for that is not mudslinging, but the strategy for that instead is by going for our camp to go back to the places wherein possibly the campaign of Manny Villar as being somebody who represents the poor has been taken from President Estrada. So we have addressed that by doing our sorties in those specific areas and getting the votes of the Erap masa back to him. And I think that's what has been effective for President Estrada, aside from the media ads. So the campaign has been going afloat on a positive level.
I know everyone says they're doing the positive level thing, but it seems as if what people are doing at this point is trying to bring down the numbers of their opponents. In the case of Mr. Estrada, he's making revelations about Villar, hoping that his numbers will go down. In the case of Villar, he's hoping the numbers will go down with these psych reports. The Aquino camp, at this point, I know that you've admitted, Attorney Estrada, on ANC that you do have opposition research. How important does that factor into all of this?
At this stage of the game, we're no longer concerned about that. We are now, our lead has widened, and we're now more concerned with vote protection. Our recent statements have all been concerned about parallel manual count. We are concerned about the votes being counted properly by the COMELEC. And so that's where we're going right now. With respect to opposition research, people have been coming to us, have been coming to me and giving us information. And we vet them. We see if it's valid or not. And at this point in time, we feel that we have to protect our votes. And we have not been hurling any negative propaganda or black propaganda or even opposition propaganda. If you notice, our statements have recently been of protecting our votes. It's, short of being the spokesperson of President Estrada,
A love fest between the two of you.
they've been hitting Senator Villar, and rightly so. We also have those documents. We've never used them, as Senator Aquino said, because we couldn't verify them. We wanted a talking head to come out and say those things that the documents were saying. But we didn't use it. So Senator Juan Ponce Enrile decided to use them, and good for them. It's not our role to hit Mr. Villar. We are now more concerned with vote protection. We are concerned about a failure of election scenario, and so we're moving towards that phase.
Dr. De Vera, still on the line?
Yes. 2 points. Just 2 points. First, in regards to this statement of Ms. Salcedo,
Sir, could you turn down the volume on your TV because there's a little bit of feedback.
Yeah. Erap Estrada has accused Manny Villar of a criminal act. The Philippine Stock Exchange has already come up with a official statement that all transactions were above board and that Manny Villar did not do anything illegal. Yet they have persisted to accuse us and now accusing the PSE board of something wrong. There is something wrong with that. That is black propaganda, and we demand a retraction of that statement. And
Your
now
second
they're saying
point.
that we're going to file a case after March 5th. Why delay it after the election? Why not file a case now? Now, the second point is, Mr. Salcedo said that they have received documents and they don't bring it out to the public. That is their call. We do not fault them for that. But Guido Delgado, as a citizen, feels that it is his responsibility to bring out the document into the public. We are not accusing Noynoy Aquino of anything. If you notice the threshold, we did not say that he is psychologically unfit for public office. What we are asking the media is to investigate a document and a DVD that was sent to us. So the two things are very different from each other. And so we do not owe anyone an apology. It is our responsibility, it is Guido's responsibility as a citizen to bring it out to the public.
Let me say again, Guido Delgado had the chance or opportunity to contact Father Croix. Had he waited for Father Croix's confirmation, then Guido would have known that this was a fake report. He didn't bother to wait for that report. He went on instead and ran away with the report, held a press conference, and planted in the mind of the public, again, another psychiatric question of mental fitness of the president, of Senator Aquino. This is nothing but black propaganda. If Guido Delgado, Mr. Rivera, was prudent enough and diligent enough and honest enough and competent enough, then he would have waited for Father Croix and waited for his response. Father Croix said, hindi na ako hinintay, diniretso na sa press con. Ano ba yun? Mahirap bang hintay ng isang oras? Mahirap bang hintay ng 30 minutos? No, let Dr. Rivera wait. This is mental dishonesty on the part of Guido Delgado. Let's not say, it's not the obligation of media. Tinawagan din si Father Croix.
All right, let's get Margaux to respond to Dr. De Vera's points earlier.
I'm actually kind of enjoying the banter between the two.
Same here.
But yeah, just to get back, Dr. De Vera, yes. With respect to the press conference that President Estrada held with Senate President Juan Ponce and Enrile, first of all, the legal ramifications with respect to the violation of the law. I have been told that there is evidence that proves that there have been violations not only of corporate law, not only of the Securities and Regulation Code, but there may also be, I'll get to that point later, but also there may also be a tax evasion case. Secondly, with respect to, putting that aside from the, Manny Villar has said that he has violated no law, but he is forgetting the law on ethics. And that is what this is all about. Because we have to remember the integrity and the sincerity of a president is what people are looking at in this coming elections, which goes to what you were asking, which is the timing of this case. And there can be no better timing than now, because now is when people are going to be deciding on who will be leading this country in the next 6 years. And for people to consider the character of somebody, if he is going to be putting his business interests over the interests of the country, then this is definitely a case that has to be brought to the public at this point in time.
Then that is definition of character assassination.
It would be character assassination if it was anything else, except that they have the evidence.
Of a candidate without refusing to produce documents, without filing.
But they have produced the documents. That's the point.
That is pure, unadulterated character assassination.
But they have produced the documents,
File
Doctor.
it now. If you did a criminal act, file it now. Do not wait after the election.
But it's character assassination, especially when you file a fake report.
Yes, correct. What is the difference between that and filing a fake report?
All right, well, we have the three of you. We have to close now our debate.
So soon?
On it's almost 9.
We'll have you guys tomorrow.
But in closing, how important are the last 12 days of the campaign? And if I can ask each one of you to summarize what it is you intend to do in the last 2 minutes of the campaign. Margaux, and then we have Prospero de Vera, and then we have Edwin Lacerda.
Well, we have already visited almost all of our target provinces. We only have 7 left to go, so we'll just be continuing with our sorties and continuing on our message of President Estrada of wanting to continue the programs that he had for the people, that he would like to continue for the Filipino people. We'd like to remind them that of all the past presidents, President Estrada was the one who was truly pro-poor. For example, he was the one who gave the highest budget for social services among all presidents under the present constitution, the highest budget for education and health, and all of this legacy of President Estrada is our message to the Filipino people. So we just want to do all our stories and bring this up to a higher level, a grander scale, and that's our strategy.
Dr. De Vera.
Well, we are going through our sorties, we are completing our rallies, we are consolidating our support at the local level, and we are trying our best to stop and to defend ourselves from this never-ending black propaganda being thrown from us from all directions.
All right, Attorney Lacerda. And perhaps we can get a pledge from the 3 of you that no more mud throwing at each other. Attorney Lacerda?
Well, we're now moving towards a vote protection phase. We have a lead that we need to protect, and so we're training all our election watchers, our people on the ground, and making sure that our votes will be counted come election day.
All right. Well, as Seth said, we've got like less than 2 weeks to go, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing more from all 3 of you in these last few days. Margaux Salcedo, Prospero de Vera, and Edwin Lacerda. Thank you to the 3 of you. And Mr. de Vera, as we've agreed, we're going to have more of this discussion tomorrow, so we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The government misses its budget deficit target for the first